are you for or against abortion, and why?
In some cases, I think abortion should be legal. For example, sexual abuse and things like that. But in other cases, it should be illegal.
I believe abortion should be an individual choice. And the reason is it pertains to an individual's body and not to the government.
Do you believe in abortion?
No, I
or
don't.
do you not believe in abortion, and why?
I don't believe in abortion because why are you going to take an innocent life when God created life? There's just no sense in that.
What do you think about abortion? I think it's guaranteed right in the Constitution underneath the right to privacy.
Many believe that the U.S. Constitution guarantees a woman's fundamental right to have an abortion. It is not true.
Coral Ridge Ministries presents 10 Truths About Abortion. Truth 5.
The right to abortion is not in the U.S. Constitution. On January 22, 1973, the United States Supreme Court, ruling in the Roe v. Wade case, found the right to abortion in the U.S. Constitution, resulting in the legalization of abortion and millions of deaths. Supreme Court Justice Harry Blackmun wrote in the Roe v. Wade decision, "The Constitution does not explicitly mention any right of privacy, yet he concludes that a right of personal privacy does exist under the Constitution. This right of privacy is broad enough to encompass a woman's decision whether or not to terminate her pregnancy." Legal scholar Robert Bork comments on Justice Blackmun's opinion.
If you read Roe against Wade, it's a very interesting opinion. It's about 51 pages or something of that sort, 51, 52 pages. There's not an ounce of legal reasoning in it. He goes through what the ancient Egyptians thought about abortion. He goes through the English common law of abortion. He goes through what the American Hospital Association thinks about abortion, what the American Medical Association thinks about it. And then suddenly, after all this history, which is utterly irrelevant to the issue before him, he suddenly says, well, there is a right of privacy and it's broad enough to cover the right to abortion. Bang. It's a terrible opinion.
The most dangerous place to be as an American is not on the battlefield protecting America. The most dangerous place to be in America is in the womb.
David Gibbs is the founder of the Christian Law Association.
We have to understand that an individual within the Constitution was a life entity given by God. And there's no question the framers understood that to be at conception. That's why in the early days, up until the time that these decisions came down, if you at any point did something to a mother carrying a baby, it was actionable for the mother and the baby because the baby was a human life, an individual protected by the laws of our land.
Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia wrote, "The Constitution contains no right to abortion. It is not to be found in the long-standing traditions of our society, nor can it be logically deduced from the text of the Constitution."
The right to abortion is not found in the U.S. Constitution. In fact, in the 5th and 14th Amendments of the Constitution, it states that no one should be deprived of life without the due process of law. As you can see, there's no basis in our Constitution for an individual to have the right to an abortion. In fact, it states in the Declaration of Independence that an individual has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Former President Ronald Reagan wrote, "Make no mistake, abortion on demand is not a right granted by the Constitution. No serious scholar, including one disposed to agree with the court's result, has argued that the framers of the Constitution intended to create such a right. Nowhere do the plain words of the Constitution even hint at a right so sweeping as to permit abortion up to the time the child is ready to be born."